the last to win 3 successive Gold Cups, and I wonder if we'll ever see his like again. And here now the runners and riders for the 1986 version from Peter.
And there are 14 of them, headed by number 1, All 10 Glazed, ridden by Graham Bradley. 2, Bartries, Tom Morgan. 3, Berlin, Dermot Browne. 4, Broadbeam, John Brown. 6, Charco Wally, Brendan Powell. 8, Desert Orchid, Colin Brown. 9, For Auction, Ken Morgan. 11, French Union, Peter Scudamore. 12, King Joe, Graham McCourt. 14, Music Be Magic, Neil Dowdy. 15, Oregon Trail, Ronnie Began. 17, Rhythmic Pastures, John Joe O'Neill. 18, River's Edge, Andy Stringer. And 19, Silverwind, ridden by Hugh Davis.
Well, I suppose that Berlin and Music by Magic are the 2 form horses here, but the one horse with a little bit of real outstanding class on his day is Desert Orchid, when he has a good day, and he had one of those days in Hurst Park Novices Chase at Ascot last autumn.
Into the Desert Orchid. Cocaine. Cocaine just getting a little bit tired there. So they run down to the final fence in this Hurst Park Novices Chase. Desert Orchid, clear of Cocaine. Whee! Thought he was going to get close to that. Cocaine jumps it and racing up to the line. Desert Orchid, what an attractive horse he is. Bowling past the winning post, the comfortable winner.
Yes, comfortable indeed, but the problem with Desert Orchid is that he's a much better horse going right-handed. Well, Charco Wally is a horse that goes either way, but his requirement is good or fast ground, and he got it when he won the Sapling Novices Chase at Ascot last month. Charco Wally by 2 or 3 lengths from Oregon Trail second. Deep Impression making his run now in third. Then Perliman and Amrella and Dunkirk as they come to the second last. And Charco Wally's made it all, but he's pressed now by Deep Impression. Charco Wally, Deep Impression, Oregon Trail, Perliman now in fourth, but running to the last it's still Charco Wally. But Peter Scudamore goes for his whip on Deep Impression, and Oregon Trail's running on again, but Charco Wally leads by 3 lengths. Charco Wally from Oregon Trail and Deep Impression as they come to the last. Charco Wally over from Oregon Trail second, Deep Impression and Perliman on the run in. Oregon Trail putting in a strong challenge, but with 50 yards to run, Charco Wally is holding on. He's going to make it all at the line. Charco Wally is the winner. Oregon Trail second, Deep Impression is third. Well, Charco Wally was a 10-to-1 shot earlier this morning. Berlin was the morning line favourite. I wonder how they bet now.
And Berlin is the favourite now. 11-4 Berlin. Music Be Magic, second favourite, 4-1. And Desert Orchid and For Auction are on 11-2. 10-1 Charcoal Wally and Bartra. Oregon Trail is 14-1. Rhythmic Pastimes 16-1. All 10 Glazed 20-1. 25-1 Bar 9.
So we're in for a terrific contest here because there are so many of them that like to be up there or make the run in. Berlin, Broadbeam, Charcoal Wally, Desert Orchid, they all like to be up there. Music Be Magic will be on their tail. So Silverwind there in the colours of Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, Broadbeam behind him, and then Desert Orchid, Des as he's known in the stable at David Ellsworth, and look at that huge crowd. But Berlin goes out first. This one who is trained by Nick Gaisley, and Nick's had so many good horses, especially novice chasers this season. He's having a tremendous run. Well, earlier Jonathan Powell talked to Dermot Browne, his rider, and said how would he cope with these faster conditions?
All his form, like you say, has been on soft, indeed heavy ground. It would suit him better if it was softer or heavy ground. But, he's never really been asked to go on this as such, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it'll hinder him too much. It'll suit the other horse a bit better.
He likes to go off in front. Can you see yourself trying to make it today?
He's been in front twice at Lingfield because the novice chase is the best place to be up there out of trouble. He didn't make the running at Sandown with Desert Orchid there. We're quite content to sit behind him, and if we're going well enough we take it off him, and the same here. We'll jump out of the gate and see how we go. We don't intend to jump off and go mad or anything like that. You jump off, like to be handy, out of trouble. Just read the race as it goes, really.
And what about his jumping?
Well, touch wood, he's jumped quite well so far. Had no complaints about that at all, really. To win, he jumps Linkfield, he jumps Sandown. You know, with a bit of luck, hopefully he should jump around here, okay.
Best of luck. Thank you.
So certainly looked well in the paddock. I thought a great sheen on his coat, carrying a little bit of condition, and he's been busy. He is unbeaten over fences this season, and last time out put up a superb display, but he only had half a length to spare over Desert Orchid. He likes to be up with the action right from the start. So Dermot Browne on the 3-to-1 favourite, it's 5-to-1 bar him. Well, one of the challengers from the north here, and this is Music Be Magic from Gordon Richards' yards. He set up a sequence of 4 wins, including twice here, has been most impressive. But we haven't seen him out for 2.5 months, and Jonathan Powell asked his rider Neil Doughty, what's he been doing in the interim?
Well, after he won in December, he had a short break. He went down to the boss's farm and had a few quiet weeks down there. Brought him back into training, and we've just gradually brought him to his peak, and hopefully he'll give a good account of himself today.
You haven't been held up with him by the weather?
A little bit, but I think our horses are pretty forward. The boss has had quite a few winners just lately, and I'd be more than hopeful that we'll win today, you know.
Yeah, he's unbeaten over fences. He looks a very fast horse.
He is. He's a very good horse, very easy horse to ride, and I can make it, I can settle in with him. I'd be very hopeful, you know.
Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, as we were saying earlier, today is the first day that horse racing is being televised legally in betting shops, and our cameras are following the action in one of the showpiece shops in the West End of London, where our reporter is Paul McDowell.
And I say good afternoon to you, Julian, not from West London, but in fact from North London, from a William Hill betting shop, which opened in fact just this morning. Quite unique. It's one of William Hill's 850 betting shops, but this one has been custom built for the new regulations. Just up my left here are the bank of monitors where we've been watching the live racing this afternoon. Government regulations say they can be no bigger than 30 inches. We can watch any live sporting event here, says the government. And everything we've been watching today on these monitors has been controlled from Leeds by William Hill. Well, just before the festival began, there was a steady stream of punters. We haven't got the curled-up betting slips yet. It's very clean, very fresh. The atmosphere, I think, is building up. And with me here is Graham Sharp of William Hill. Graham, you've been talking to the boss. What, is he pleased with the way things have been going? We've just had one race.
And that looked more like mission control to me. Anyway, while you're away, the news is that Knock Kelly Castle was disqualified from 4th place in the first race. Kinnear Express is moved up to 4th place, but of course that doesn't affect bets, it doesn't affect settlers. And now back to the start for the Arkle Trophy. Bartris, the Irish horse, in shot, and here's Rich Pittman.
Thank you, Julian. Yes, this fella goes on any ground, and by far his best race was his latest, when only a head behind Passage Creeper at Leopardstown. Now, that was a month ago, and it was in the Irish Arkle Chase, and a lot of horses have run so well over there and won it and come over to take the English version of the Arkle as well. That was a good run, and I certainly expect him to be up there. Bit of a plain-looking horse in the paddock, you know. Desi Hughes trains him, Tom Morgan rides him, and he's certainly a good sort, but what do you think, a more chasing angular horse than the types we saw in the last race? But this is a novice chase. Well, this morning Peter O'Sullivan asked Desi Hughes if he thought this horse had any chance.
I'd give him a chance. He's a super leopard, very natural jumper, although he's only had one run over fences. He's had plenty of schooling, and the one run we gave him in the Arkle, which was throwing him in a bit of the deep end, he led over the second last. He just got pipped on the line of short head by Passage Creeper,
yeah,
which would be one of our best novices, and probably one of our best novice hurlers or handicap hurlers last year.
So you'd certainly give him a squeak?
He has a chance, yeah.
The ground suit him?
Perfect, absolutely perfect for him, yeah.
The softly spoken Desi Hughes there, but what he says is very sensible indeed. But the thing about this race, look out for Desert Orchid, who prefers a track the other way round. It's going to be fast and furious because there are so many front runners, and I think that this is going to be one of the most exciting races of the 3 days. It's full of the necessary ingredients, and there's Desert Orchid going straight to the inside, straight to the front. Let's join Peter O'Sullivan.
And the starter telling him to get back from the tape. Calling him in again though now. This looks a possibility. 12 fences to be jumped this time. That's River's Edge just turning. Fifth from the right of your picture.
Get straight now. Come on.
And they're away. Desert Orchid, the grey, third from the right. Going to jump this with Charcoal Wally right up sides. The two greys, Desert Orchid and Charcoal Wally. Silver Wind over on the far side. King Joe lost some ground at the first, and Silver Wind's gone there. Silver Wind, a faller. The horse continuing riderless, and his rider's just got to his feet. Desert Orchid in the lead from Charcoal Wally. Berlin goes into third now. French Union over on the far side, followed by River's Edge and Music Be Magic. Then comes Bartridge and For Auction, the former champion hurdle winner. Oregon Trail right over on the far side. Broadbeam and All 10 Glaze and Rhythmic Pastimes just in behind them as they jump the third. And it was still Desert Orchid with the advantage from Charcoal Wally. Berlin in third, 4 Music Be Magic and 5 as French Union. Behind them come River's Edge and Bartridge and Broadbeam, and then Oregon Trail and For Auction, All 10 Glazed. Between horses is Rhythmic Pastimes, King Joe, the back marker. And Desert Orchid clear of Charcoal Wally, Music Be Magic. Berlin on the inside, being followed by Oregon Trail, then River's Edge, then comes French Union, Broadbeam on the outer, running down to another plain fence. And Desert Orchid jumps it well clear of Charcoal Wally and Berlin and Music Be Magic. They're all safely over it, running down now to the water, number 6 of the 12 fences, 12 obstacles. And it's Desert Orchid well clear of Charcoal Wally, Berlin, Music Be Magic and Oregon Trail. Just in behind them, River's Edge, then French Union and Bartridge on the outside as they come to the first of the ditches. Desert Orchid lands clear of Charcoal Wally, Berlin. Behind them, Oregon Trail. Then on the outside, Bartridge. Another plain one. Desert Orchid jumped it clear of Charcoal Wally. Berlin third, 4 Oregon Trail, 5 River's Edge. A gap then to All 10 Glades and then Bartridge. Behind them, French Union. Then comes For Auction under pressure as they come to the final ditch now. And Desert Orchid clear of Charcoal Wally. Berlin on the inside. On the outside of Berlin, River's Edge. Just behind them come Oregon Trail, and these 5 a long way clear of the remainder, who are being headed by All 10 Glazed, beginning the run downhill now. And still Desert Orchid, who's made all the running so far, from Charcoal Wally, Berlin on the inside. Then comes River's Edge, and then Oregon Trail. Music Be Magic was the faller out in the country. They're running down towards the next 3 from home now. Charcoal Wally coming to try and get on terms now with Desert Orchid. Then comes Oregon Trail on the outside of River's Edge, and then Berlin, who's making no progress at all now. And it's Charcoal Wally taking it up now from Desert Orchid. For Auction was the faller there, coming down to the next, and it's 2 from home. Charcoal Wally from Desert Orchid. Then comes Oregon Trail racing round the home turn now. And as they do so, it's Charcoal Wally with the advantage from Oregon Trail, who's moved into second. Desert Orchid is third. Then comes River's Edge and Berlin coming down to the final fence now in the Arkle Challenge Trophy. And as they do so, Charcoal Wally lands in the lead from Oregon Trail on the far side. Desert Orchid is third. 4 and 5, River's Edge and Berlin racing into the closing stages. Charcoal Wally being pressed all the time by Oregon Trail. Charcoal Wally on the near side, Oregon Trail on the far side. Oregon Trail is getting up at the line. Oregon Trail has just run it from Charcoal Wally with third, Desert Orchid, and 4 River's Edge. Then came Berlin and All 10 Glazed, and behind them French Union and Bartridge and Broadbeam, the only other finisher. And so the result of the Arkle Challenge Trophy: first, number 15, Oregon Trail, owned by Mr. W.H. Ponsonby, trained by Simon Christian, written by Ronnie Began. Second was number 6, Charcoal Wally, owned by Mr. J.W. Mersell, trained by Ron Hodges and written by Brendan Powell. And third, number 8, Desert Orchid, owned by Mr. R. Burridge, trained by David Ellsworth and written by Colin Brown. Fourth was number 18, River's Edge. This is the winner, Oregon Trail, running only his third race of the season.
And what a fantastic race this, although there was some grief, I'm afraid, on the way around. But on the inside, the grey there, Desert Orchid, who cut out the trail all the way, just being headed by the other grey, Charcoal Wally, who looked to be going better than anything at the moment. Oregon Trail back in third place and getting a reminder there from Ronnie Beggan. But remember that this second horse here had chased home Charcoal Wally at Ascot. And as they come round the last bend, you'd have thought that he was going to do exactly the same thing again today. He's syndicate owned by Henry Ponsonby's colours are on this horse's back. He has 15 horses in syndicates, and going to the last night, he's just starting to peg back the leader. Now a jump here is going to clinch it. In fact, the leader gets a good one, Oregon Trail gets just a good one, and away they go up the hill. Desert Orchid just weakening back in third place. He jumps superbly, and I'm afraid the writing's on the wall for anyone behind him. But at this stage, you'd still think Charcoal Wally was going to hold on. But the Simon Christian gelding, Oregon Trail, comes from behind now under hard driving from Ronnie Beggan, a really good jockey here. Brendan Powell losing nothing in defeat. And Simon Christian must be delighted to have his first ever National Hunt Festival winner, having trained for so long under that great maestro, Foot Warwin. And I'm sure Foot will be very proud of his protege here. So Charcoal Wally, a superbly brave race, but just losing the spoils. And there's Desert Orchid with his ears cocked back in third place, but some way behind the leading two.
So Oregon Trail avenges that defeat at Ascot by Charcoal Wally at the place where it really matters, the National Hunt Festival. And the official verdict, 3/4 of a length and 8 lengths. So following a 40-to-1 winner, a 14-to-1 winner, so nothing appears to have occurred yet at Cheltenham to cause the premature closing of the betting shops who are receiving pictures from us this afternoon. Ronnie Beggan on the most significant winner of his career, this 18th running of the Arkle Challenge Trophy, his 9th winner of the season, Ronnie, and number 7 for the successful trainer of this gelding by Auction Ring, out of Oriental Star by Falcon, Simon Christian.